So do you have goals? Something that you really want to achieve that feels kind of purposeful and you're like, I just want to find the time to make this happen. But with everything going on, with trying to grow a business, with working on your health, with your family, with your career, maybe all the things that you're juggling, it just kind of feels like I cannot find a way to make more time to do the things that I really, truly want to do. And maybe you're like us in the beginning, where you kind of force it. You kind of push through and you figure that this is just a season of your life. Unfortunately, what I found is like most of the time, those seasons become permanent seasons. And it's just the way it is all the time, unless you take the steps that we're going to help you with today. So here's the thing. We've been working with a ton of entrepreneurs, career professionals, people who really want to be able to achieve more, but they're looking for ways on not only how to achieve more in less time, but looking for ways that they can still excel at it all. Because a lot of people tend to put everything else on the back burner, tend to not spend as much time with their family, not to spend as much time on their health. And when they do that, they kind of like manifest not living the life that they truly want. And we've got a solution here for you because we've helped so many people get through this, mostly because we were struggling with it too. So if you're ready to do that with us, you're ready to lean in and take full control of your time so you can become a master of your time, well, let's go. It's time to redefine leadership. Welcome to Modern Leadership, where we see things differently. Our channel is all about empowering entrepreneurs like you to achieve the next level of success in business and life. We believe that you can create a massive impact in the world without compromising your personal life or family time to do so.
We're committed to providing you with actionable tips and strategies weekly to make that possible. So if you're ready to become a modern leader and make a lasting difference in the world, consider subscribing. Turn on notifications and dive into our community. We want to thank you for being here because the world needs your leadership now more than ever. Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. So welcome back to our Inner Circle members, to our subscribers, and really to anybody who's making it here for the first time because they're like, I just want to figure out this timepiece. And we're going to be able to give you some strategies, really a system that we teach all of our clients to help them be able to get more done in less time, but really be able to prioritize what's most important to them so they can excel in all areas of life. This strategy that we're going to share with you here today is, like I said, was something that we take our clients through a lot. Now, recently, I don't know what it's been. It's been like almost every single one of our brand new clients. This is what they struggle with the most. And what's beautiful is when we walk them through the entire strategy that we share with them, how it literally transforms their life. I mean, they start making more sales. They start connecting more with their family. They start to have really incredible moments. They start to lose weight. They start to feel amazing. And they really start to like have this contagious energy that they put out that actually attracts people to their business. And they do that because they take full control of their time. Now, today, one of the things I do want to call out to is the process that we're going to share with you. There's actually 3 total steps to it. Now, this is something that we teach inside of all of our programs. Most of the time, it takes between 3 to 6 months to actually have enough time and investment into not only the system, but to be able to adjust it and to make some modifications to it, to be able to continue and grow. And those 3 steps are not something we can go through here on this one call. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through step number 1 with you. Because this is a step that oftentimes when you become aware of the things that are actually holding you back, become aware of the way that you're thinking about your time, you will come to realize that this is the step that will give you like hope and give you an opportunity to actually do something different. So today we're going to go over that process with you today. And we're going to start by Teresa sharing the mindset.
Like Mark said, like this is the most important piece because thoughts will always align with your actions. So everything that you've done around time or that has come up for you around time up until this point has been trying to teach you a lesson. Because if you've been thinking about time as something that you just don't have control over, it's like you can never catch up or you're always trying to play catch up. And it's just because you've been thinking about time as something that like you can never have. Mm-hmm. But if you start to think about it in a different way, then you can start taking the actions that'll help you out. So there is a way to achieve everything that you want to do, but it's important to understand that it's not everything. It's the most important things. It's the most important things that you identify to do. The way we need to think about this is we need to think about time differently. we need to realize that what is happening right now, if you're really struggling with time, is because you need to think about what this is trying to teach you. Maybe it's because you have your priorities out of whack. Maybe because you're just trying to extinguish fires, right? Everybody else's priorities are your priorities. And we haven't stopped to think about, what do I want? What is my priority and what's important to me right now? And once you start to identify that and start to think about this in a different way, then you'll start to see momentum. You'll start to see that things fall into place and that you actually do have time to do things because you start to put your energy and effort into things that really matter, that really move the needle forward for you. But you have to be open to finding a way. If you're constantly thinking about how you have a lack of time, then you're just going to find that. You're just going to find that you don't have time. You're just going to be spinning your wheels over and over and over again. But if you stop to think about, how can I make more time? It's really about like, what are my priorities and how can I assign time to those specific priorities and then let go of everything else?
Yes, 100%. So I really like how you said that is like our relationship with time and the way that we think of time determines how much of it we have.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things where we all know we have 24 hours a day and we're not here to shame or guilt anybody until like, what are you doing with your 24, which is what we kind of see on social media. But it's more of like, how can we think of this as a little bit differently and actually make the most effective use of our time? Right. And if you're willing to be open to, I don't have the answers now, but I'm plugging into a resource. I mean, that's literally why you guys have us, right? Plugging into a resource to help find time, to help think about time a little bit differently, right? To help achieve more without having to do more. Like these are ways that you can just open up like the floodgates of results because it doesn't have to be done by you. But many of the times if we're like, if I'm thinking back like to where I was, is I thought that in order for me to see more success, I would have to do more things. I would have to take more action. I'd have to put myself out there more. And that wasn't the case at all. I mean, right now we have a team. And because we have a team, like we get to do these like, YouTube videos and then go, for an entire week for a summit that I'm going to be teaching and talking at, right? And it's like, I get to do that and unplug and have my business still move forward because I was willing to think differently, all right? And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're just starting your business, you're a solopreneur, you got 500 employees. It doesn't matter because I've coached all those people, right? It has a lot to do with the way that you think about time. So when you think about just this process of, you know what, like this is trying to teach me something. Where I'm at right now is just trying to teach me that next level of growth for me to lean into. Now your brain, can you see, is open to other ideas. And that's where we tap into the second piece, which is the tactics. Okay. Now we're going to go through a couple different tactics right here. This is usually what we do when we start off with our clients, because the truth is before you find out where you want to go, you have to find out where you are, right? It doesn't make any sense if we say, we're going to go east to get to New York. Well, if you're in Florida, you're not going to get there. If you're in California, you're at least heading in the right direction, but I kind of want to make sure, where am I and how do I get there, right? Siri's not going to be able to tell you where to go unless it knows where you are. And so this part of the process is step number one, is finding out where you are. Now, what this involves, usually we do what's called a breakdown session where we ask a lot of these questions to help the person identify what they truly want. So the first step is what you truly want. I like to do this like this, and you can close your eyes if you want to. But I like to think about like 5 years out from now. So you wake up 5 years out from now and you have the business that you wanted. You're in that position in the career that you wanted. You have the family connection that you've wanted. You're in a place like doing the things that you want to do with the people you want to do them with when you want to do them. What would that look like? Like think about some of the compelling images that come up for you in your brain when you picture yourself doing that. I mean, are you at home or are you in Hawaii? Are you with your family or are you with, people at work? Like there's no right or wrong here. It's about your vision. Because if we don't really find what you want, then what you're going to do is you're going to be working towards what everybody else wants. And you're going to get there and you're going to be like, this sucks. This doesn't look anything like I wanted, right? And so we want to make sure that we aren't running towards other people's visions. We want to make sure that we can capture what our visions are. Now, the second part of this is thinking about what your core values are. Teresa talked about this a few minutes ago. Some people, like when they think about like priorities and think about core values, they're very, very similar. Core values is kind of like the things that drive you. So for me, it's family, it's health, it's integrity, and it's impact. So everything that I do has to have one, if not all of those things moving towards it. Otherwise, I feel like I'm out of alignment with my core values. So if I start like for some reason getting in front of a big crowd and all of a sudden I'm like starting to pretend like I'm not myself, I feel really weird and awkward because I'm not being me, and integrity is a big deal for me, right? If I say yes to everything and then I say no to a lot of the things that I can do with my family, once again, I'm out of alignment with my core values, and I will feel like at the end of the day, I didn't get a lot done. And so it's being able to identify what your core values are and seeing that they're in alignment with your 5-year vision. When you think about your 5-year vision, it's probably you living your core values to your fullest. And that's when we get into, now that you have an opportunity to think about your 5-year vision and think about your core values, is like, what are your current roles and responsibilities right now? Sometimes it's as a parent, sometimes as a leader in your career, sometimes it is a business owner, CEO, right? And we got to think about like, based off of this is kind of like where our time needs to be like spent. So based off of our core values, what we want to create in 5 years, and some of our roles and responsibilities right now. Now, the second part of this tactic is to ask yourself, where am I right now? And that is what we talk about doing a time audit. So you look at your time and you look at, what am I doing? How often am I doing it? And literally what we typically do is we have somebody write out a week. Either you could write it out as you go. That's the best way to do it. Or a lot of our clients will just think about like last week, and they'll sit down and they'll go from this time to this time. Like, you don't have to get into the weeds like every minute, but I would highly suggest that if you remember something you were doing, that you write it down. And then we look at that and we say, okay, dependent on your specific 5-year vision, where you want to go and what your priorities are, how are you spending your time in congruence with that? Are you heading in that direction? Could you go in that direction faster? Or do you find you're doing some of things that aren't leading you in that direction? Let me give you an idea from me. So when I did this for myself, this was like 7 or 8 years ago when I first learned about this strategy. And when I did that, you know what was on my schedule? Playing poker, fantasy football, watching football all day Sunday, all day, like Monday Night Football, softball practice and softball games. And I'm looking here at my roles, being a dad, a father, a husband, a police officer, and a business owner, right? And I'm like, I'm literally spending like 10, 12, more than 12 hours per week focused on those things, which is out of alignment from what I truly want to create. Now, I know that there's a synergy for me of like, I do still spend time like playing video games or doing something, going on a walk, doing things that help me recharge. But doing all of those things and then asking myself like, oh, how am I going to show up for all of these, was just watering me down in all of the other areas that were really important to me. So I made the decision, not somebody telling me, not a coach telling me. I said, I'm going to do something different because I want something different. Like, yeah, at the time I was hanging out with a lot of police officers and they were doing the same things as me, but I was like, I want something different than they have. And so I have to be willing to do something different. And so I found somebody who was doing something different, not only doing something different, but was thinking something different when it comes to their time. And when I got around them, it just became contagious. And most people are like, man, do you miss it? Not for a second. Like, I mean, the Super Bowl came up last year. I'm like, I don't even know who's in it, right? And I could care less because I'm more focused on what matters to me. Now, hear me out here. If football is your thing, then go all in. That's your thing. If that's a priority of yours, if that's important, I'm not going to be the one who's going to tell you what direction to go. This exercise is about you and your goals, because we have clients and we'll actually go through this and the clients are like, no, this thing's really important to me. I'm like, cool. Like, our job as a coach is not to tell you, it's to help you discover it for yourself. And remember, you can always make a new decision too. Because if you decide to go down a path and you're like, I don't want to continue going down this path, you can at any point go down a different path. If you choose, and being your coach, I'm going to be there to support you no matter what. So it's not about using shame or guilt or saying that maybe you should remove the same things that I did. No, we're all individuals and you get to make that choice and decision yourself. But I promise you that whatever decision you make that might seem hard in the moment, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, being able to retire now from my police career, not having to do that and being able to play poker whenever I want to, even though I still don't, that was really worth it for me. And I honestly don't think I would ever go back to doing stuff like that again. But this is my story. So what is your story? So thinking about these, being able to identify your mindset and how can you really laser focus on, there's an opportunity here. I just have to be willing to find it. And then number 2, identifying what you truly want, what you feel are your core values and your near and dear priorities to you. And then doing an audit and asking myself, where am I in alignment with what I want? And where am I out of alignment? Not because I'm going to beat myself up, but because I need to know where I am on the GPS. Because I promise you, we've helped hundreds of people on a one-on-one basis go through this process. And they're like, oh my God, I cannot believe what I feel like when I'm able to make this adjustment, right? It's the same thing for you. You're going to have an aha moment when you get an opportunity to see this, as long as you don't beat yourself up. You wouldn't beat yourself up that you're in California today if you're trying to get to New York. You'd be like, I'm in California. I guess I should start traveling Northeast. So we have to take our approach when it comes to our time the same way. We're not here to beat each other up. What we're here to do is figure out where we are so we can figure out how to get to where we want to be.
Yeah, I just think that's so key, is understanding that beating yourself up isn't going to help. And that just understanding that, okay, this is where I am. Mm-hmm. I want to be somewhere different. And we kind of like leave things in the past and just start moving forward. That time audit is a really good way to have a bird's eye view of what is going on. Because when we're in the thick of it, we can't see things differently. Yeah. It's such a great way to identify opportunities. Mm-hmm. It's not a problem. They're opportunities for you to be able to change your habits and just your thinking so that you can start to move forward.
Yes. So how do you get yourself to take these kind of actions? So right now you might be listening to this going, I am on fire. I'm ready to go. I cannot wait to do this. Until tomorrow or the next day or a day after that, kind of like wakes up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're like, this is dumb. Mark and Teresa don't know what they're talking about. The truth is the environment that created the excitement for you is the environment to stay in to make sure that the excitement continues. So here's the thing. This is the reason why we put together our inner circle. Because when you're in an environment where you can lean into, where you can have weekly calls, where you can actually dive into me and Teresa being able to coach you through things, or if we're not your fit, find somebody who can keep that motivation high, keep you taking action, and keep you being able to see things differently like we do here on this channel. It's really powerful when you have that kind of environment. So if you got here and you're like, I feel like I'm on fire, well, then maybe sticking around is a good idea so that you can continue to have this level of fire, because this is what we bring every single week. Once a month, we also dive onto a live Q&A coaching session so we can help coach some of the people in our community. It's a group coaching based program where we can help you come up to your answers. One of the things we talked about here today is like, there's not a blanket rule of like, everybody should do this or not do this. I know everybody likes to follow trackers. And I think trackers are awesome if it's designed for you and what you need to achieve and based off of your strengths. And there's a lot of individual pieces and components to this. This is why we're leaning into the inner circle, by being able to like give you that level of coaching and mentoring while you're on the call. That's something brand new that we just created 2 weeks ago. And we're going to, in November, going to be bumping the price up. So right now, it's actually more than 50% off in order to join that. But here's the thing. Whether you join us or not, that's not the point of what I'm saying here. The point is I want you to find an environment that brings you to life, that gets you to see things differently, that gets you to find your answers, not just telling you what one person's answers are, but being able to tap into that is a game changer. Whether that's us, you're a family-driven business owner, you want to connect better with your family and you want to get into the best shape of your life, that's what we do here. But if it's outside of that, or you don't like our energy, or you don't really feel like you're connecting with this message, please find someone, something, a group out there, because it's really powerful for you to do this with a team versus doing it on your own. I hate to say it, but most of the time we will do things more for other people than we will do for ourselves. So tap into that. Tap into that as a strength for you, not as a weakness, and be able to lean in and get uncomfortable and have the conversations you need. Thank you for what you do out there every single day, and keep leading from the front, team. Bye, everybody.